What is the African National Congress going to do with the demands of the hashtag Occupy Luthuli House movement? And will the ANC expel those who participated in the hashtag Occupy Luthuli House? Why did the ANC take collective responsibility for poor performance during the local government elections? And what is the ANC's official position on mounting calls for an early elective conference? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. The results of last month's local government elections have put the spotlight on the ANC. For the first time since 1994, the party garnered below 60% of the votes and lost a couple of metros to the DA. Subsequent to this, the ANC's NEC agreed to take collective responsibility for the party's dismal performance. Meanwhile, a group calling itself the hashtag Occupy Luthuli House marched to the party's headquarters yesterday. After a lengthy standoff between the group and the hashtag Defend Luthuli House members, a memorandum of demands was handed to the Secretary General Gwede Mantashe. They demanded, amongst other things, the resignation of President Jacob Zuma and the entire NEC, calling for the revival of the movement. But it's time on the ANC side to mend alleged divisions and factionalism before the 2019 national elections. We are live, by the way, and therefore you can call us and air your views. The numbers to dial is 0891104210. My guest today, the Secretary General of the ANC himself, Gwede Mantashe, and he'll be taking your calls. SG, welcome to the show.
Hello, Mpho.
So, Konuvalo.
Asnavalo.
Okay. Now, let's firstly look at the demands yesterday. What are you going to do with that memorandum?
Mpho, that memorandum add to a number of voices that goes to the ANC. We've been to many regions. I've been to two at least. And we meet members of the ANC who make a number of demands. Many of them overlap with what was in that memorandum. So that memorandum adds to the voices that we're listening to. And we'll listen at the end of that process. We'll have to take action.
And by the way, while still at the issue around the memorandum, there have been demands or calls by certain members of the ANC that those who participated or who handed the memorandum should be expelled. Are they going to be fired?
No, my view is that when the party goes through a difficult period, the worst thing that it can do is to be intolerant and begin to be angry on every criticism. That is not the time for that. This is the time to listen, work on those demands, talk to members of the ANC, advise young people like Abolamola and Kuku to say you will add more value if you go to your branches, and when you go to the regions where you are, we must meet you as president delegates. You will add more value because there will be more ANC members who will hear your views, who may actually be persuaded. Because what is nice in an organization is that it is about persuading each other. You know, I receive a lot of SMSs and WhatsApps. One tap phone me and say, it is this majority that destroys us. And I said, that's a new formula. We always grew up knowing that if your view is a minority view today, you have a duty to persuade the majority to buy into your view.
Yes.
Then it becomes the dominant view. And that's how organizations work. And my advice to all those young people is go there. The only worrying factor in that, because it reminded us of what is called the color revolution, particularly in the DRC, when you saw activists from Burkina Faso and Ghana joining in. In that delegation, there was a chap from Swaziland and a chap from the DRC. That, to me, as a person, I read something of internationalization of the discontent and unhappiness.
Let's talk about this concept of regime change.
Yes.
But there are views, and the regime change is a concept that has been conceptualized by those within the ANC who are saying these are people who do not want the current leadership to remain in power.
Regime change is not a concept, it's a practice.
Okay.
You can go to the Rose Revolution in Ukraine, you go to the Yellow Revolution in Georgia, and the Pink Revolution in Ukraine, you can go to the Arab Springs in Libya, you can go, there are examples. So it's not a concept, it's a practice of removing legitimate governments that are not loyal to Western powers.
Is that your fear?
It's not a fear, it's analysis of the risk that is going with governing. That if you are not protecting the interests of particular powers, then it is agitating discontent. And that's why I'm saying, when you begin to see internationalization of the protest and discontent, you read something there and to take note without saying arrest them. But you take note, oh, now this thing is being internationalized. We may have a big group from neighboring states coming here and become part of Occupy Lutule House, and then you say that is a legitimate voice. And when you go to members of the ANC, same people say you're wasting your time. So that means we must listen to everybody else except members of the ANC. To me, I find that a little bit odd.
Mona, you are in Malberton.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, good evening, Mpo. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for the call, Mona.
I'm fine.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm a 74-year-old pensioner, and I would like to say something. So this thing of the way the people are carrying on, I think it's disgusting. They should all of them should put their act together, and as for Ntuli House, the police or the army should protect this. You know, this is future for the future. I don't know what's going on since Mr. Mandela died, but as a 74-year-old pensioner, I'm really ashamed of South Africa. It's just disgusting. That's all, and it's very, very sad. Because
Mona, Mr. Mandela was not active. I mean, by the time of his death, he has been
enough since this icon of ours has passed away, and I think everybody should put their act together.
Okay.
And as for the young people that's burning and looting the schools, they should be dealt with.
Thank you very much, Mona. Thank you very much for that question. SG?
No, Mpo. All of a sudden, Mandela is a telling of everybody. He's appropriated from the ANC. He belongs to everybody. And many talk of the ANC as if we started with Mandela and ended with Mandela. That it is a 104-year-old liberation movement disappears. And I think what we should do, we should talk to the problem that we're facing and correct them. And an expectation that says, because the ANC is going through a difficult period now, it must actually bleed itself to death. It's actually a misnomer. You know, I talked to members of the ANC in Mangaung, and I said to them, you know, when we all attack the ANC as members of the ANC without coming with concrete ideas of what we should do to strengthen it and revive it, and if there is a change of leadership, it must come as part of a strategy to renew and revive the ANC. I say, sometimes we behave like a snake. You know, when you injure a snake and it bleeds, it bites the other side and tries to patch here, and it bleeds there. It bites another part and tries to patch itself, and it bleeds itself to death. We can't afford that for the ANC, that we bleed ourselves to death because we're so angry with each other that we think that if we destroy everyone else we don't like in the ANC will be better.
Now,
we need everybody.
Some of the members of the ANC are saying Gwede must go, Jacob Zuma must go, Jesse Duarte must go, TG must go,
yes,
the chair must go, the entire NEC, in fact.
NEC is 86.
Yeah.
We must all go.
Yes.
You know what I said one day when I talked about collective responsibility? I say it's a collective responsibility that says each one of us must appeal to his or her conscience. And it means if we need to go, we must go. And I joked in that media interview and said, And when I go, Zizi will go together because we're elected together. And to me, if that becomes the outcome, it should be an outcome. But it can be an outcome of a call by everybody, members and non-members. It will be a call that comes out of processing issues in the ANC. If that is the outcome, it's fine with me.
But Matolo Motshekga doesn't think you were right by adopting this collective responsibility.
Matolo is right. Can I tell you, as I said, we have gone to many regions. I don't know how many regions did you visit. In those regions, they raised issues. Manipulation of processes, changing of candidates.
Yes.
The negative narrative that consistently went to the president, and they list the issues. And when you look at those issues, others are a responsibility of the ANC, NEC. Others actually go to local leadership. And everybody must own up. That's what collective responsibility means. It means own up. You know, one time somebody asked me, why don't you fire the president? I said, one, I don't have the powers to. You can only fire a person you have a right to hire. And when I met the group of Occupy Lutuli yesterday, I took the memorandum, I gave them the ANC constitution. So that members of the ANC who is in that group must at least read the constitution and know that there are mechanisms of dealing with the issues they're raising in the constitution of the ANC. If they go outside of it, their voice is smaller.
Okay. Tom, you are in Mbombela.
Yeah, good evening, SG, and good evening to you.
Yes.
Yeah, I just have two questions for the SG.
Quickly, Tom, yes.
The first one is in relation to the so-called internal processes within the ANC.
Okay.
I have been a member of the ANC until my suspension in 2012. You are aware of my suspension, SG. I brought it to your attention when you came to Emakazeni for the COSAS anniversary. I've taken my suspension to the disciplinary committee to request it to be lifted. I've taken it to the Deputy President, Cyril Ramaphosa. I've even taken it to the Treasurer General of the ANC when he was here in Mpumalanga province.
Okay, Tom, what is the
and
problem?
It appears that the ANC does not have any of the so-called internal processes if a person can be suspended for 4 years without any hearing. So I'm asking myself, are you not contributing to these problems that are in the ANC? And the second question, we have, when you have Nsigi Mazwai or a case Efwale going on Twitter, we are very quick to respond to that. But your own members, you seem to be failing to do anything. We had Nkangala, fraud, fraudulent membership been happening there, 11 branches going to conference with, when they were not supposed to have even gone to that conference. And yet in eThekwini, we were so quick to intervene there.
Okay,
are
Tom,
you not creating this problem?
We've got your point.
Fractionalizing the ANC and treating Mpumalanga?
Let's start with his suspension. You know, the disciplinary committee is not handled by Secretary General. There's a disciplinary committee in the branch. You can appeal to the region, to the province, National Disciplinary Committee, and National Disciplinary Committee of Appeal. If you leave that process, you don't appeal to the National Disciplinary Committee of Appeal, you talk to the president in Mbombela or the TG. Actually, you're not appealing. It's a conversation. You write an appeal to the next level of the disciplinary structure because they process disciplinary cases, they pronounce on them. Okay. That's why I never pronounce on outcomes of disciplinary cases because in the Constitution it is clear the chairperson of the disciplinary committee must announce on that. So if you leave that process and you actually ambush leaders as they go to Mpumalanga, you are not appealing. Okay. You are having a conversation. You are basically asking for a favor. Let me tell him about the eThekwini. It is always raised. The difference between many of the conferences and eThekwini is that eThekwini issues were brought to us before the conference. And we said, thou shalt not go to that area. And comrades, in their own wisdom, did exactly what we're told don't do. We even said, if you do this, there will be appeals, and we explained to them. And we said, once those appeals come, you will be forced to rerun that conference. They went there with their eyes open, and therefore it was easy to deal with the Tegwin.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Tulu, you are in Gauteng.
Hello, Paul and SG.
Yes,
Right.
welcome, Tulu.
I just want to say 2 words to the SG. I'm begging. I'm a true member, born member of the ANC. They are killing the organization in front of us. We are so worried for our kids that we have to convince on a daily basis that ANC is who we are. There are no branches of the ANC. Those are dummy people that are paid for loyalty. We cannot afford to have an organization like
Tulu, do
this.
you belong to such a branch? Tulu? Oh,
What brand is that?
this paid dummy people.
Okay. Now, you see, it's simple. That's exactly where the problem is. Zulu accused us of having ghost members in a branch. And that ghost membership is in that branch. And they say, in Luthuli House, you are killing the ANC by allowing this to happen. There's not a single branch that is run from Luthuli House, not one. There's not even a branch of the ANC called Luthuli House, because everybody there is forced to belong to a branch. I belong to, 43 Neguruleni, and I go to general meetings as a member, not as SG. I participate, I was there 2 weekends ago. I do that from time to time when I have time. If you allow branches to die in your presence as a member, don't look for scapegoats. It is our responsibilities as members of the ANC to protect ourselves at branch level. That's why branches have the power, actually, to do what they all call about for us to go. We're killing the organization. Actually, branches have the power to remove us.
Tapelo, you are in Bethlehem.
Yes, I think the ANC is a party that is being haunted by its evil deeds. Because if you remember exactly, ANC has been living in distortions and lies for many years. If you remember, in the Free State, we had problems. We went to Luthuli House. We even went to court. Then, at the ultimate end, the Constitutional Court did found the wrongdoing with regard to the conference that was held in Paris. What happened is Mr. Mantashe there manipulated the verdict and allowed the delegates from the Free State, even at the time when we exposed them that all the processes were fraudulent. So right now the chickens are coming to roost. The ANC is being haunted. It's now just you can't call it an organization. It's a group of all elderly people who are just fascinated with history and don't want to entertain anything reality about this membership.
Thank you very much.
The Free State Conference was rerun. In terms of the court ruling, It was rerun. We allowed it to rerun. We dissolved that PSC, it was rerun. So I don't know what is manipulation when you comply with a court verdict. We complied with the court verdict, fully dissolved that PSC, rerun the conference.
Let's talk about the, elective conference, which is supposed to be held sooner than 2017 December?
There's no such a proposal on the table, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, there's no such a proposal on the table. There's a lot of talk about it. The Youth League, we were supposed to meet them yesterday, where they wanted to table this proposal. They didn't arrive because they said, no, we can't, there's chaos outside and so forth. We didn't have that meeting. So there is not a single structure of the ANC that has made that proposal. We read about it everywhere, a consultative conference, an early conference, and all those things. And we say to people, you have a right to do that. And the Constitution of the ANC provides for that.
For such, yes.
But do it. If the Constitution wants 5 provinces to come together to make that proposal for it to happen, don't shout it in the street. Go to your province must persuade other 4 provinces to make the proposal. Then it will go. And we're actually given a minimum of 1 month to comply with that call. But people don't want to do that, but because it is hard work to mobilize other structures to support your ideas. They think that if they shout it in the media every day, it will make sense.
Sean, you're in Constantia Kloof.
Yes, good afternoon. I would like to ask, is there only one?
Go ahead, Sean. Oh, okay. Sean is lost. We don't know what happened to you, Sean, but if you're able, please do come back. Now, there are calls by some within the structures of the ANC. Well, not even calls. They've started indicating on their preferences for presidency candidate. I've seen a list circulating. Your name is also there in one of the lists.
As
not as president. No, as deputy president.
Okay. Now let me tell you, Mpo, I call that ill-discipline because when you start with your succession debate prematurely, you're going to have what is called accidental succession. And it has a number of movements because you make it a free-for-all, and therefore anybody is like kicking an up and under in rugby. When you kick an up and under in rugby, you are throwing that ball to the air. It's everybody's ball. Once you begin to do that in an organization, you are actively destroying it. You're actively destroying it. Succession is something that should be managed. It should be debated properly. It should allow structures and branches in particular to talk about those names. Okay. They must not just say we support that list because there is a name of Gwede. They must say, why do we support that list, that person, and that person? And we've thrown back to all our structures. Hey, comrade, go back to a document called Through the Eye of the Needle, because it assists you think through the name and assess the leaders.
Good news.
Yes.
Give us some good news there. I'm okay.
Hey, how are you, Mpo?
I'm well. Some good news from you.
Good news is that
I'm very well.
The economy is growing by 3.3%.
How are you, FG, there?
I'm all right. I'm saying good news is that the economy has grown by 3.3% in this quarter. Okay.
Yes, that is very good. That is very.
Yes.
No, FG, the people who were there yesterday, no, don't worry. Just carry on about your business in our organization, because I think, Mr. Mpo, they must realize, all the people in South Africa, ANC got 5 steps. First step is a branch. Second step is a sub-region. Third is a region. Fourth is a
PEC,
province.
Yes.
The last one is the
NEC.
NEC.
Okay.
So if you want to just from the branch climb up to, I don't know what you do.
Okay, good news. Thanks for the good news. Let's have a look at some of the tweets here. What are the people saying out there? Mangaran Ramoba says, ask him what are his views on the issue of Colin Maine saying the organizers, the organizers must be expelled. I guess you've responded to that. Can the SG advise on or if his tenure has taken the organ forward or back? Okay, that's a good one. Maketa Tabang says it was funny how he sang that Asnavalo song. Good one. But let's look at the previous one.
You see, simple. That question is asked to me every day. And people sometimes say, your performance compared to Tumano and Alfred and so, and it goes back to Tema and Walter, OR and all of them. And I always tell the people that, you see, the ANC is a living organ. And a living organ must adapt to the environment. And we're at a time where we are. One, you can't compare the ANC that is open to everybody to an ANC that operated under a condition of illegality.
Okay.
And where discipline was a mode of survival. And to an ANC where everybody comes in, that's why if you listen to the majority of cases, it's questions about me, I, and my. my suspension, my this, because people are personal in dealing with the ANC. We've opened the window for fresh air. We get the fresh air, but we also get mosquitoes.
SG, but I must ask you this. Will you support General Ntemeza if he goes on and arrests Pravin Gordhan?
That one is... now, let me tell you, I've commented on that issue. I said, General Ntemeza must do what he should do, not publicity stand on questions of arrest.
That was the SG of the ANC. And that was question time. From me and the rest of the crew, you have yourself a wonderful time. My thoughts.